Well, I think we can consider Andrew's new cross trainer as run in. In fact, I doubt anyone could confuse it with a new bike after today's ride. We spent the morning on mostly gnarly tracks, although of course these will look like kindergarten tracks for very experienced riders. But I like the challenge of trying to do these sections without putting a foot down, while Andrew just aims to get through, since I've got a big head start on him with this sort of riding. Mind you, he's not too shabby, given that he's had 25 years off bikes and only got back into it last year. A bit of recent rain meant there were still some wet sections to make the traction interesting. This bit isn't too steep, but the holes and bumps are spaced perfectly to throw the bike out of shape if you don't use a lot of body positioning.
This is fun, bit of a bunny hop over the gap.
After that recent weighting and de-weighting training vid, it was interesting to try a few bunny hops. A cool way to get faster, straight lines through rough terrain.
Actually, there's also bunny hopping that line there, I think.
Only a few minutes in and we've both got arm pump.
Yeah, that's easier.
Us old farts really should ease our way into this stuff more.
This is a hard one to get your run up for the step-ups, big step-ups.
I love this section. Loose rocks, sticks and leaves mean you really need to pick where to apply the throttle, and you need that momentum to get over the step-ups and tree roots. Great practice. In our coaching, Chris Birch stressed the need to stop and look at a section like this first to pick your line. Then you can avoid obstacles like this rut, although I like using it for rut riding practice. This is a hill I can't do without putting a foot down yet. It's so easy to bounce out of control.
Not the line I wanted.
And of course, once it all goes pear-shaped, it's very hard to get the speed up again to stand on the foot pegs. Best score on this to date is 3 dabs with the foot, but more often it's a crap effort like this one.
Messy, but made it.
The poor old cross trainer went down a few times here.
Whoa. You right?
Andrew got up eventually, but it got us discussing how far should you push the envelope. If you tackle stuff that's too hard, will it just reinforce bad habits? Or is it the fastest way to learn how to get through gnarly terrain?
Good clutch work.
We asked Betty Beta.
It's tricky, you got this step up and then mossy rock. You got these tree roots and bloody jumps and...
This is another interesting section. The first bit is steep, off-camber and slippery. But you can see with enough balls, you could use a certain bump as a kicker to just launch yourself up. But we chicken out on the approach, slow down, then just plod up like gumbies.
A classic one for practicing the old weighting and de-weighting, because she's got so many holes and ditches in it. We like to try and do it without putting a foot down if we can. Woohoo! No foot down.
We were both pretty tired by this point, so the mistakes started creeping in.
You right?
One thing's for sure, this is a great workout. The key to getting through gnarly terrain smoothly is body positioning and lots of it.
I got a bit close to him.
I especially see this with the guys who've done some trials riding. They stand on the pegs as much as possible and are constantly moving on the bike. Only thing, it gets very tiring. I'm usually wheezing like a beached asthmatic walrus at the top of every climb. It's good motivation for watching the diet and doing some exercise between rides. It was mainly meant as a joke, but the recent 2-stroke versus 4-stroke vid we did has got some very interesting comments. Personally, I found a 4-stroke easier at the beginning when my throttle control sucked. But I think you get to a point where that instant snappy 2-stroke response works in your favour. Once you start to blip the throttle in the right spots, the throttle is just constantly on and off in this terrain. And of course, the 2-strokes will lug away right from idle, far less likely to stall, and they've got all that extra torque per cubic centimetre compared to the 4-strokes. As we get more and more buggered, we start to avoid the seriously gnarly stuff and stick to the moderate sections. It'll be interesting to see how far we can take our riding from here. As you get into your mid-50s, you start to balance the increased risks of snapping a bone or ligament with the need to do gnarlier terrain if you want to learn more. And it's hard to know how much time you've got. My brother just got back into dirt riding at 49, then had to stop after 3 rides because he got osteoporosis of the hip. Fingers crossed it will clear up and he'll ride again, but it's a timely warning to make hay while the sun shines, and we ride while we can. Again, we consulted Betty for her advice. You know, we only let her hang around because of her wise philosophical insights. The fact she has a splendid set of hooters is entirely coincidental.